So this is going to be a review and a vocal test for the Boss VE20 pedal. Now before we get into the actual test and some of the review, let's just talk about the price quick if you're interested in buying one of these for yourself. I'd heard a lot of good things about them. That's essentially what led me to buy them, but we'll get to more of that later. Pricing on Amazon, I believe the lowest price I saw was $260 or $269 plus tax plus shipping. You're probably going to pay $285, $300. So I thought that was a little steep for something I'm unaware of, so I checked out the used market. I looked at eBay, some other places. I landed on Guitar Center and some of their used gear, and I found it for $160 with tax and shipping from California. I think I paid $185 or $186, something like that. I forget, but less than $200. Now, as far as this thing is built, it's actually got a little bit of weight to it. It's pretty solid, I think. It has a rubber padding on the back, so obviously when you put it on the floor, it absorbs a little bit when you step on it, gives some cushion. It is made of, I feel like, some sort of aluminum or metal, the two of these. And we're going to go ahead and bring you in for a little bit of a closer look for the knobs, the back side, the LCD, LED, whatever the hell you call it, screen, etc., etc. So let's go ahead and do that, and then we will proceed to the actual vocal test and my final opinion on this piece of gear. All right, so now that we have it repositioned and we can take a closer look at what the Boss VE20 vocal processor has to offer. Right now I have it on bypass. As you can see, this is the little LCD screen. From the floor, I think in a not so well lit place, you can probably see this pretty well, but in an extremely bright place, if you have poor eyesight or something like that, it may be a little small. So that's kind of a negative thing that I want to point out right there, is that it really should be slightly larger for people that are slightly that have vision impairment or whatever you call it precisely. Anyway, from the back, as you can see here, this is where the DC power source goes in. I bought mine used, and not surprisingly, wow, they did not send me a power source. I have an extra 9-volt DC power source, so not an issue, and it takes batteries, although I'm sure these batteries are going to wear down quick. That's the on-off switch. You have the left and right output, which is running over to my Scarlett right now, which is where I'm recording this into my DAW, which eventually I'll edit it all together. You have two right, left, so obviously you can run one into, I guess, something else, an extra set of PA monitors or something. You have the 1/4 inch headphone jack, which is very awesome. So that means that this is, you know, portable. You could carry this thing around with batteries and a good pair of headphones and your 1/4 inch cable on your headphones, and you could be singing and practicing yourself in your car or whatever. And then, of course, your XLR input. Back, as I mentioned, the rubber padding and the batteries. I can't open it or my batteries will probably pop out. And then it even explains, which is very nice, the phrase loop, how to select your sound, how to write sound, how to adjust the mic sense, and so on and so forth. So I don't want to say it's completely idiot proof, but they seem to somewhat go out of their way to try to get it across how you can operate this thing. Now, over here you can see that the power is engaged. It has 48 volt because right now I'm using the condenser, so that's great. You have the two pedals. Now, when I watched a couple reviews, I don't want to say I was completely confused, but the way a couple reviews explained this was, one didn't explain whether or not you could click through to get to them, the actual presets, and another one said you couldn't. Well, it turns out you can, and I'm going to go ahead and get to some of that in just a second. So over here you have your phrase loop, which, you know, you engage. Well, now it engaged the preset as well, and then I would hit this to record it. So we're going to go ahead and record a phrase loop, and you're going to hear it in this video. So I'll sing something here. A wild ride over stony ground. Such a lust for life. The circus comes to town. Okay, so now that I sang that, we're gonna hit this, and I believe that disengages the record. A wild ride over stony ground, such a lust for life. The circus comes to town. So that demonstration there, it was not the greatest demonstration. Maybe I'll do another demonstration at the end of the video. What's neat about the phrase loop, which you could use for your guitar or whatever, or your vocals, obviously, since that's why most people buy it, is you can sing a vocal harmony on top of what you just previously sang, and that actually sounds better than the artificial harmony that we're gonna go ahead and check out here in a second. Anyway, typically, to scroll through these, and it's on right now, the preset is hard rock, preset is pop, ballad, and if you go backwards, you can see that it has 80 possible users. Like, you can basically create and save your own vocal process sound, your signature sound. You can do that and make that, so that's really nice. Anyway, you control that stuff through this little knob, which for the most part, I would say it's pretty smooth. So you click that, and then, you can change your key if you want. You change the key by turning it. So after you punch it, like, okay, so I punched that, you're at the key, and then you turn it. Now we're in the key of D flat, key of D, the key of F, the key of E flat, and so on. And then the same thing basically goes with controlling the amount of level for other things, like your delay. I think that's delay. And so on and so forth. Your reverb level, if you want to turn your reverb up. Right now I'm turning the reverb way up. So now the reverb is very obvious right now. So I would be almost creating my own preset here, and then obviously you're going back down and so on and so forth. And basically the whole box kind of operates like that. You can hit exit to get out of it. The menu will bring you to the setup, dynamics, pitch correction, tone. So let's say if I want pitch correction on, I'm gonna go ahead and hit that. Right now pitch correction's off, so I'm gonna sing a little piece here again. A wild ride over stony ground. Now I'm turning the pitch correction on. A wild ride over stony ground, such a lust for life. The circus comes to town. So personally, let me turn this off. So personally, I think the pitch correction sounds decent. That's if you're pretty close to the note. I gotta turn the reverb off. It's driving me nuts. Back. And so pitch correction, dynamics on. I'm sure dynamics, as you can hear now, dynamics on. Such a lust for life. The circus comes to town. I think what the dynamics does is it, by definition, the ups and downs, the amount of change that you're getting within versus no dynamics, meaning everything's the same. So there's definitely an effect going on there. I'm gonna go ahead and turn it off. The depth I think is referring to your dynamics. So your enhancement, turning on the enhancement goes to 10. All right. So that's that. So let's get back to the presets. Whoops. I'm already confusing myself. So this is the first preset. It's hard rock. So I'm just going to sing a little bit and then go through them. You'll soon be hearing the chime, close to midnight. Let's try that with the harmony. You'll soon be hearing the chime, close to midnight. It just sounds very robotic, is what I want to say. You control your presets by this, but the other thing that you can actually do is you hold this for 2 seconds. Okay, so now I disengage the harmony. Now you can actually use the pedal, word on the floor with your feet to step through it. So you're at 2, which is pop, 3, the ballad, you know, a wild ride over stony ground. I got to feel it in my blood. You'll soon be hearing the chime, close to midnight. If I could turn back the time, I'd make all right. How can it end like this? There's a sting in the way you kiss me. Something within your eyes said it could be the last time, for it's over. Just wanna be with you in the moonlight. Okay, my voice is already dying. So we're up to 13, and as you can hear, the double voice thing, it's okay. Again, you can adjust all these. These are the ones that are there. You can wipe them all out. Triple voice. So when you're in double, triple, the 6 voice one, just wanna be with you in the moonlight. It's kind of heavy on a reverb. A wild ride over stony ground. A wild ride over stony ground. Such a lustful life. The circus comes to town. We are the hungry ones on a lightning raid. Just like a river runs, like a fire meets flame. Okay, I gotta take a breather here. So this is the flanger. I got a feeling in my blood. Oh, whoa, whoa. I got a feeling in my blood. Oh, whoa, whoa. I need your touch, don't need your love. Oh, whoa, whoa. And I want, and I need, and I love anymore.
Oh, alright, we got the robotic going on here. So if you were singing, it sounds like this. It doesn't sound at all like your regular voice. I cry wolf, I give a mouth to mouth.
I cry wolf, I give a mouth to mouth, like a moving army in the witching hour.
I'm running with the wind, a
Shadow in the dust, like a driving rain, like a restless rust. I don't know. When you get past 30, it's on the same presets, but they've been altered again. But I think what Boss was trying to say is that these pre-programmed ones, they're basically just messing with the pitch. They're bringing it up an octave, which you can definitely hear
on the well, that's down an octave or down 2 octaves at least.
This one's up at least 1, maybe 2 octaves. So, I don't know. And jazz,
Echo again. A cry wolf.
arena. I got a feeling in my blood. Oh, whoa, whoa. I need your touch, don't need your love. Oh, whoa, whoa. And I want, and I need, and I love. Anyway, it's basically the same stuff and so on and so forth. So let's go ahead and, so again, you hold this down to send it back to harmony, but you actually just sent this back to the control. So now it's controlled by that again. So I'm at a user empty, so there's nothing really here. So this is just my normal voice. But, you know, you can use it, the whole 2-second thing. Some guy was like, oh, you know, you got to hold it down for 2 seconds if you want to keep or move the control module from here to here, like a guitar pedal, or any other typical type pedal. Now, I think his comment was actually kind of idiotic, or just, you know, I get where he's going, but I don't at the same time, because I'm going to do that before I start playing a show or singing or recording. I'm going to hold it down so I can control it with my foot. So let's just say, for the sake of whatever, that I'm using my fingers. It's quicker right now. But let's just say I wanted to start with pop, because it's very smooth, right? There's not a lot there. It's pretty average. There's a little bit of reverb, a little delay, maybe some dynamics going on. But let's just say, you know, you're doing a show. There's the 2-second. And it indicates that by bouncing the light, that you can move it with your foot, and it quits bouncing if you hold it back down. But let's just say I was singing the pop song, you'll soon be hearing the chime, close to midnight. And then maybe the second verse, I could hit it with my foot, because you do have a couple seconds. Bam, another one. If I could turn back the time, I'd make all right. How can it end like this? There's a sting in the way you kiss me. Something within your eyes said it could be the last time. So I think you get what I'm saying. And then back to nothing. Okay. So just a second here. So the one thing that the guy did make a good point, which is the reason I almost didn't buy it, was he was saying, and he makes a good point, is that let's say you're in a song and you want to do effects and this is on the floor. Well, yes, you could hold your microphone and bend over, but there's no way of punching in. Now, where this thing shines, I think it shines at the price point. This thing sounds pretty good. You know, they're like, well, you get this, and this, pitch correction, reverb, dynamics. I mean, you have multiple layers, as I pointed out here in the menu. You know, like with your dynamic, pitch, tone, your harmonies. Like you have multiple options with turning on harmonies, turning them off, and so on. So if you know what you're doing, is the way I would put it. If you know what you're doing, you can control this thing. It is true, as I pointed out just a minute ago, that if you want to do specific modulation, massive changes to dynamics, tone, and so on and so forth, that it's a little bit of a pain and so on. And I think with like the phrase loop, which let's go over the phrase loop one more time. So I'm going to go ahead and re-engage this thing. And let's do the phrase loop. So we hit the phrase. Now, the one thing that kind of does suck about that is if I had a shoe on, I couldn't hit this with the tip of my shoe or toe. It would definitely, if this thing isn't up in the air, which somewhat defeats the purpose, and looks weird too if you're singing on stage sometimes, like, you're gonna have to hit it with your finger. And then the record, let's go ahead and hit that. You'll soon be hearing the chime, close to midnight. If I could turn back the time, I'd make all right. Hit that record off. Here it goes. You'll soon be hearing the chime, close to midnight. If I could turn back the time, I'd make all right. Hit that. So you'll soon be hearing the chime. Whoops. Okay, so I mean, you know, you're gonna get used to it when you're doing it. It is 1, 2, 3 things to pay attention to, and then this. But with any piece of equipment, sorry about that. With any piece of equipment, it takes time to adjust. It takes time to become a master of any piece of equipment. You don't just pick up your guitar one day and you're an excellent guitar player, and you don't just start recording vocals or whatever, or a band, and you're a master at recording. It takes time. You have to learn the gear. And a lot of people in this society are just going to blow this thing off because they're like, oh, this, and this. Well, you have to consider certain things. You get what you pay for, number one, and what you get is pretty good. Now, there is like TC Helicon. I haven't messed with that stuff yet, but I can already see that TC Helicon, some of their stuff does have few advantages, and there is always the option of, well, I'm going to have a chorus pedal, a delay pedal, I'm going to have a pitch correction pedal. So you'd have a pedal board. Now, that's the old school thing. It does make perfect sense to have all that because it's not confusing at all. Whereas this, yes, can be very confusing. But like I said, with time, I think this could be a great asset, a great piece of gear to own, whether it's in your studio or you're playing live. Anyway, thanks for watching the video. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. Peace out.